Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Mochi, and today we're going to be talking about everything I can think of that's weapon related from my almost 300 hours of playing. So yeah, let's jump right in. So the tips are structured in a way that like the beginning tips are more general knowledge, and towards the end it will get some more advanced tips. So here we go with the first one. Also, peep this weird glitch that happened to me while I was fighting Swamp Walker. So here at the weapon bench, you can find one in Albion, and you can find one at any outpost on the map. You can level up your weapons, and each one takes a phase exchanger. Rare weapons take a different material, and the ultimate weapons take another upgrade material that's different from using it on a rare one. And these can be used to get your level to level 100. Maybe in the future it can go past 100, but that's all we can use it for now. My next tip is using weapon readjustment. This is when you use a little Lego brick piece, and these reroll the substats on your ultimate weapons. Or I guess on your rare weapons they can do it as well. And if you find a roll that you like, you can lock it, but it makes it take more resources every time you roll. And the more that you lock, the more expensive it becomes. For my next tip is enhancing your unique ability. Currently only ultimate weapons have unique abilities, and they can only be upgraded by fusing together the same ultimate weapon into itself. And you can do it up to 4 times. For my next tip I have for you guys is how to fit more mods onto your weapons. So to fit more mods on, you can use energy activators, which I call mushrooms, or you can use crystallization catalysts, which I call donuts, frisbees, but basically they let you fit on a certain module socket type, and that lets you discount your modules. But be careful and make sure you do careful planning, because if you have a mod with the wrong module type in the wrong module slot, it'll make it more expensive. My next tip I want to give you guys is about weapon proficiency. So your first 40 levels on a brand new weapon are the only levels that apply to your mastery level. So using your crystallization catalyst and then leveling up your weapon does not apply to your mastery level. Usually what I like to do when I'm farming is use a bunch of different weapons that are new to me, so that way I'm leveling up multiple weapons at the same time for the extra mastery. Whenever I'm farming or doing pretty much general stuff in the world, I like to make sure I have a farming set of external components, and this is the set that you want, or the piece that you want to use for maximum firearm proficiency. Another thing about firearm proficiency is using 3 of the same weapon doesn't make the weapon level up any faster, it still only applies to that one weapon. Also, whenever you're leveling up a weapon, the weapon currently in your hand gets 100% of the XP gain. The other 2 weapons that you aren't actively having in your hand only gets a 20% XP gain. When you're out in the world leveling up your weapons, using your Descendant skills can also level up your weapon, so you don't actively have to be shooting to level up your weapons. Whenever you're using weapons of the same ammo type, they all share the same ammo pool. So usually it's not really good to use ammo of the same ammo type, because it will limit how much ammo you have. But if you're like me and you really want to use just one weapon the whole time, like my Thunder Cage for example, you can use a second weapon that has the same ammo type. For me it's my Tamer, and I use max general rounds to get a buff for how much ammo capacity it can hold, and you can use this mod right here. This lets me pick up green ammo and convert it to white ammo. And in game, the way you make it work is you swap to the weapon that has the mods on it and you pick up the desired ammo. You see I picked it up and now I have over 800 ammo, and I can go back to my Thunder Cage, and it's great. Going back to weapon proficiency real quick, and what I said about skills leveling up your weapons, using unique weapons such as like descendants like Freyna that have like a unique weapon, like a different type of weapon in their kit, this doesn't level up or count towards your weapon proficiency. Though I will say, the buffs and modules on your weapons do carry over to that unique weapon. For my next tip, we're going to be talking about animation canceling. So each weapon is a little bit different on when you can do the animation cancel. For most ARs, SMGs, and hand cannons and pistols, you can do the animation cancel around the halfway mark of that little round bar at the bottom, and you can either grapple or you can roll to do the animation cancel. I believe with the tamer, since it has a longer reload, along with snipers, it's around the 80% mark is when you can do the animation cancel. But animation cancel can really save you like a couple milliseconds to squeeze in a little bit more damage. Another small tip I have for you guys is whenever you're falling from a great height and you land on the ground, there's a little delay from when you can recover again. If you shoot while you're falling, the moment you hit the ground while you're shooting, you won't have that little delay. Sometimes you can do it if you can do a well-timed roll. Most of the safe times is to just shoot. I know, this is kind of a niche tip because you can just use your double jump, but maybe you don't have your double jump at the time for some reason, I don't know. Next thing I want to talk about is how different weapons have different weapon types or like damage types. So if you see underneath their names of each weapon, there's a little symbol. It'll either be a little star, a little arrow, or a little like hammer looking thing, and those mean that they have different like damage types. The arrow means pierce, the little star means burst, and crush is the one that looks like a broken pillar thingy. And you can see on each boss it tells you what they're weak to. So some weapons are better and more effective against different bosses. Also, if you're out in the world and you scan over an enemy, you can see their elemental weakness, but also the weapon type weakness. You'll know you're hitting them with a weapon that they're weak to if the numbers are green. The numbers will be white if you're hitting them with like something that they're not weak to. The next thing I want to talk about is how different weapons are meant to be built differently. So for example, my Thunder Cage is built with crit, but that's because by its base stats it has really high crit and crit damage. But if you take a weapon of the same archetype, another SMG, and look at its stats, it doesn't have too much any crit or crit damage, but it has really high weak point damage. So you would build this with weak point damage. It all really just depends on the weapon, so you just have to pay attention to what kind of stats that they have to know what you're supposed to build it with. Okay, so we now know that some weapons are good with crit, and some weapons are good with weak point damage. But some weapons are good with raw firearm power attack and fire, or I guess like elemental damage. So the Enduring Legacy is a weapon that applies fire, but like it has a high trigger rate, which means that depending on what kind of element you put on it, in my case it's fire, it applies burn much quicker. And so you would build this gun with trigger rate and fire attack, fire, trigger rate, burning, you know. The next thing I want to talk about is a mod that you can get that actually boosts your firearm attack that goes on your Descendant. Now you can't really find this mod anywhere in the world, I don't think. And the only way to get this mod is from combining different cerulean type mods together at the NPC that lets you combine mods. So I haven't gotten it yet. I know a couple people have gotten it, but just combine all your cerulean mods. Hopefully one day you'll get it. And the last thing I want to talk about is to experiment with the gold mods. Some of these mods, they offer some kind of handicap, I guess, or like some kind of downside, but offer you something good in return. And some of them have like unique things that you can apply. It really just depends on how you want to build your character and what kind of build you're going for. Some of them give you defense, some of them give you different stat buffs or apply the elemental burns and freezes. It's all just fun to mess around with, and it's up to you how you can find out how you want to build your weapons. And that's all the tips that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something, and if you did, leave a like. And comment down below if you have any tips that I didn't cover. And that's all for the video, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one.